Hey, what's up, guys? This is Vashmere Valentine, and this is my Then, Now, and Next. So a lot of times people want to ask me about my past, and I guess the best place to start at would be when I was a child. I grew up in a house with a mom that wasn't a big fan of like violence and horror. So while other kids was out watching like Do the Right Thing or Menace to Society, my mom had us watching fantasy. So anything like The Never Ending Story, or any type of Tim Burton or Steven Spielberg classic was pretty much everything that was playing in our house at that time. So from that point forward, I was already automatically enrolled into a love for fantasy, which led me to becoming a screenwriter my first time in Los Angeles. And my screenwriting experience, I think, really helped propel me into the position of being a film director, because I had a chance and the opportunity to actually read the work and fully digest what the screenwriter, or what it means to be a writer, and what the words mean on a page to not only the actors, but also what it means to how it's going to be shot and how it's going to be interpreted by the people that are watching it. So I really got a lot of experience during that time as a screen reader, really just digesting other people's work and speaking to them and asking them why they made choices that they did, and really just learning about their work and what motivated their work and made them who they are. That history alone, I think, is what propelled me to the point that I was able to do the type of work that I wanted to. It was actually just feeding off of what the industry had to offer at that time, and learning the ropes, if you want to say, from people that had been in the industry for years, people that had worked as a creative consultant before me, who were able to give me information about what makes shows work, what made a show like Different Strokes popular, what made it popular to both the white community and the African American community. Those are like some of the tidbits of knowledge that I was able to gain when I was out there and learning from some of the guys that have been doing it for a long time. And that really motivated me to be able to take that and my screenwriting experience to another level by really understanding what works and what doesn't work. And I think a lot of times, a lot of people don't take the opportunity to really put the thought into their work of why it would work versus just creating it. That has a lot to do with it. So that business side of show business that people sometimes tend to forget really plays a large part and if someone buys your work and if it doesn't. And I was just blessed to be around people that were able to teach me exactly what that meant and why it was necessary to know what it meant in that business. So that was really pretty much the start of my career at that point in time. And a lot of my time was just spent learning and digesting what people that were at that point had to say. And the knowledge I got from there was just priceless. And I guess you can kind of see it in the work I do today. Well, this has absolutely been probably like some of the best years of my career. At this point right now, my team and me were able to complete the film that everybody has been talking about, which is The Witch and the Wisp. It's a Georgia-raised film, Georgia-born film, Georgia-made film, and right now it's been in 81 been officially selected in over 81 film festivals, which is a really hard task to pull off. If you work in the business, you know that. It's got 44 awards and 33 nominations so far. And it may sound like a lot, but I guess in a full aspect of filmmaking, I feel like it's still more for it. But it's really what I think is catapulting my career right now in this business and really making a name for me. Especially in the Atlanta area, because that's where we shot it at. There are a lot of Atlanta actors that we used, so that kind of really just adds to the idea that there is real talent out here. The crew are all Atlanta talent, And to have a short film in Atlanta that did that well versus, films from countries like Spain and France, and we've actually won competitions in Tokyo. We've run competitions in France. We've run competitions in Canada against other countries, not just other filmmakers. And to know that this was a Georgia film that did it with it really, I think, really sets the standard to let Hollywood know that we're a force to be reckoned with. Along with that, in this area, I'm able to work in commercial work, as well as music videos. We play around with a little bit of both of those things, but right now that film is probably the strongest film, in my opinion, in Georgia because it was created by people in Georgia. And I think also for the fact that it's a fantasy. Like, a lot of people don't expect an African American to create a fantasy, right? With all the different types of films that are out right now, it's probably like one of the least films that you would expect to see from a black filmmaker. And I think a lot of times when people watch the film and they digest it, they're like, really? Like, this is what we're doing? And yeah, it is what we're doing. I feel like maybe in the past it might have not been as looked upon as it is now, but I think there's a new generation of filmmakers and a new generation of people that are in the audiences, and they want to see us take on more roles and do more things that back in the day might have been, impossible, at least in our minds. So I wouldn't be surprised, or I would tell you not to be surprised if you don't see a black pirate, or if you don't see a black space avenger coming your way, because sci-fi and fantasy created by African Americans is going to be big. It's going to be huge, and personally, it's coming your way, whether you like it or not. All right, so this is the biggest question, right? Everybody wants to know is what's next, right? So I'm happy to say that there's a lot of good things coming up next. Within the past year, I connected with a company by the name of the Big J Productions and a New Dawn Media. And with this company, I'm able to now utilize that history that I told you about before with fantasy and sci-fi. And we're gonna be making some pretty amazing films, and they're gonna be coming your way. I'm just excited because, especially in a city like Atlanta, that's thriving with talent, with actors that really want to do risky things, like sci-fi, like fantasy, it feels good to have a company besides you that's literally just opening up the door and telling you to just walk through it and just knock it down. I'm looking forward to 4 productions that we have coming through next year. 2 of them are ones that I created, which is a horror film / action film, which is going to be different than you guys ever seen before. So if you like the Avengers and you like Marvel films, but you also like, you like your horror, you're going to love this. We also have another film that's slated, which I'm sure you guys all know the name, The Wish and the Wisp. It's finally happening. It's finally coming. So you're going to have fun watching that. That's definitely going to be a huge, a really big film, I think. Not just for me, not just for the community, but also just, I think, for the industry altogether, to show that we can pretty much do anything we put our minds to. Aside from that, we've got 2 TV shows that's coming up as well. One I can't really talk about, but I will tell you that a lot of these projects are definitely centered around the ideas and the opinions of not just us, but of people of all color that haven't got a lot of quote unquote playing time in the game. To have a chance to see them really show their best, and I'm looking forward to that. But I think people, for me as a director, are really looking forward to seeing how far I can push my limitations, and I really want to see what's going to happen with that. Since the success of The Wish and the Wisp, I've gotten a lot of people to ask me just where I plan on going and how do I plan on getting there, and I think that it started here in Atlanta. We just started with people that wanted to make a change and wanted to make a difference and wanted to see a filmmaker really just stand up to the plate and say, yeah, that's cool you did Beetlejuice, but I can do that too. Or that's cool you did The Little Mermaid, well, we can do that too. And this is the point. I think this is the time, and I thank all the supporters out there in Atlanta, because within the next year, you guys are gonna see straight up sci-fi, straight up fantasy, straight up stories that you haven't seen before, stories that'll make you cry, stories that'll make you think, and stories that'll really make you really just dig right back down into that child in you and bring them back out. And you're gonna see it from a filmmaker that doesn't typically look like your normal filmmaker. So I think it's gonna get a little crazy in a good way. Hey, this is Vashmere Valentine. I'm so glad you guys stopped by to watch my Then Now Next. But if you're wondering where you can find me at, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, pretty much anywhere on the web at Vashmere Valentine. And I hope you guys reach out and connect with me because there's a lot of great things that's coming up. And I look forward to working with you.